Google just got hit with a major lawsuit over these AI overviews. This lawsuit was put on by Penske Media, who owns the Rolling Stone. Penske Media is alleging that Google's AI overviews are actually taking away from their product and creating Google's own pseudo product from the information that companies like the Rolling Stone actually put out. This is huge in the world of AI. And from everything I see, this presents a huge opportunity for search marketers. More about that in just a minute. Because I believe this lawsuit opens a huge door into the world of where search is going, AI search, AI overviews, and how people are going to make money online with search in the future. And let's face it, the Google search engine is powering trillions of dollars worth of traffic each and every year. So yeah, this is something you're going to want to pay very close attention to. Because no matter what the gurus say about making money online, Google search is still the king. Oh yeah, and did I mention by a landslide? So pay close attention. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing right now to get traffic to my websites, what this lawsuit means for the future of search and AI, and how you can use everything you learn right here, right now to build a business and make money online. Come on, let's go to work. All right, so this is some pretty big news in the world of search. And yes, as I mentioned, there's trillions of dollars at stake. We're looking at an industry that powers lots and lots of traffic to lots of businesses, from your local plumber to a content marketing person to pretty much anyone. If they start out at a Google search and end up at that business, that is fair game for the Google money machine. So what we're looking at here is the difference between AI overviews and regular search. Now, I'm a big fan of regular search, and I think you're going to see in these lawsuits, these companies are as well, because what's happening here is when you go to Google and search for something, the AI overview is looking at the search results that are there anyway and kind of summarizing them. Now, I ran a few of these through a plagiarism checker. We looked at where they're getting the results. We looked at the value of certain different terms and how this is affecting the industry as a whole. So you're going to see a lot of numbers here. You're going to see a lot of things. And this all has everything to do with the ability to make money online with search and other products out there that make money. These are very, very important things. Now, the overview of the lawsuit is that these overviews look like this. Okay, some of them show up at the top of Google. Some of them show up down below some results and different things like that. Now, I noticed that the ones that show up lower tend to have ads on them, meaning that Google is pushing the traffic towards the ads. Nothing new there. That's kind of what they do. That's what runs their $500 billion a year industry, is looking at having those ads. So what's happening here, we'll give you a brief overview of how Google search works, and then we'll show you where this fits in and how it works in the world of making money. First of all, you have sponsored ads up here. These are people that are paying for traffic. You got NerdWallet, Bankrate, Motley Fool, and you got Best Money. A lot of these are actually paying for the traffic. So if you click on the results, they are paying for the ads, much like a company would pay for a commercial versus, just having some content show up in the show or whatever it is. Same kind of thing here. These guys are paying. The people down below the AI overview are not paying. This is what's known as free traffic. And we use the word free because it is free, but it does take some work. However, now with the age of AI, I think it is easier to get. More about that in just a minute. That's what I've been doing for the last 25 years to make a very good living online. We're going to show you how it works. So down here, these people are not paying. Wall Street Journal is getting traffic for free, where these guys up here are paying for traffic. Now, the problem here, and this is what these lawsuits are saying, is, let's zoom back out here, right, is that Google is taking content from our websites, making an overview, and then making us irrelevant, which means, okay, are they actually just taking a result from whatever's down here for free, putting it in here, making their own product, and making us obsolete? Will this mean that Google eventually will just have answers from all of our websites and really no need for websites anymore? Well, that's kind of what the lawsuit is alleging. So looking at that and understanding, okay, this is valuable real estate. What does this mean? Why does it even matter? Well, if you were to take a look at this keyword, high yield savings account, and all of these derivative words here, you're going to see that this keyword alone ends up with 451,000 searches a month on Google. What does that mean? Okay, this is important. This is inventory to Google. More about this in just a second. This is all going to pile up and it'll make sense. 451,000 people a month go to Google and type in high yield savings account. All right, those ads are making money for Google. The overview is making content for Google that might not need ads and might not need websites. Down here are the free websites that are ranking in Google from what's known as SEO. You see Reddit, these other sites, and different things like that. Now, when we go through, what this means is that 451,000 people a month, in addition to my one search Google for high yield savings account. That keyword on average is worth a certain amount of money. Now, this is saying that it's $3 a click, and then they're saying that the CPS is how many clicks per search result from a search. So if I go to Google, I search for high yield savings account, how many searches on average result in a click? Like how many people who search actually click on a website? And they're saying 1.14, a little bit more than 1%. Now, if we were to go to another website that tracks the value of a click, we're going to see something interesting. Over here on SpyFu, we can see high yield savings account. They have like 73,000 monthly volume, but that's just the exact term. Google has a more broad range. And then we see the amount cost per click. This is saying, again, hey, on average, what are these guys up here paying, right? What are the ads actually paying? According to SpyFu, that's like $12, almost $13 for one click to a website. So if you were to take that number and say, okay, well, what is this actually worth? Well, according to Ahrefs, they're saying that the traffic on average is worth about $1.4 million a month. One keyword, one term, over $1 million a month. So this is where it starts to add up, and this is where the money gets really, really big. This is how Google makes bazillions of dollars. Now, if we were to take this number here and say 13 times their little maybe 100,000 visitors a month, we're seeing the same number on like a tenth of the traffic. So is it really worth $13 times 500,000 clicks? Well, yes and no. More about that in just a minute. We got to really understand the numbers. So first of all, looking at this, what is going on? Well, Google is providing these overviews, which publishers are saying, hey, that's taking traffic from us. We don't like it. And a company like NerdWallet or one of the others that's ranking here in the free traffic, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's where this is coming from. That's why this is big. Now, is this lawsuit a big nothing, or is it a huge opportunity? That's what we're here to figure out. And also, what can we learn from this and how can we use it to make money? First, I'd like to point you to Exhibit A. This is a screenshot from the keywords on one of my websites that I started just about a year ago. This one actually jumped up over 1,900 keywords in Google, over 688 visitors a month. It's actually more than that. I'm tracking it. There's people on the website right now, for a traffic value of about $1,700 a month. Now, why is this important? Why is this good? Well, I actually bought this domain name for just under $600. So if I buy it for $600, rank it, and get traffic that's worth $1,700 a month, that's a pretty good ROI. This is how the search game works. You build up websites, you can buy some websites, you can start from scratch, you get the traffic that is free, and you can make money. Now, before we dive any further, we need to have a big disclaimer. And that is that while you're going to see lots of people making lots of money and Google inventory and keywords worth money and all of this stuff, we need to pay attention to the fact that the vast majority of people trying to make money online, trying to get ranked in Google, trying to do blogging and all of this stuff make nothing. So we want to take this with a grain of salt. It's a business. The chances of making it is very slim. However, what we're going to do is we're going to look at data so that we can make informed decisions. Like this one here where I looked at data and said, okay, yeah, this domain's ranking. If I build it up, I can actually get that traffic. And if the traffic is worth money, then I could build something that would be worth money. That's the goal, at least. We got to understand, again, the vast majority of people are making nothing. Now, in 2025, the age of AI, traffic is still in full swing. Google is still getting the lion's share of the traffic. They are getting, I think it's like 10 million searches every minute. That means every minute, We've been on this video for about 10 minutes now. That means like 100 million people have searched Google since we've been here hanging out. Very important. Now, let's dissect that. Let's look at AI overviews. Let's look at inventory. Let's look at what kind of traffic we would need to make a dent. Now, going through here, I actually went through using the Ahrefs keyword tool, and I did a search with nothing. I just went to keywords, I entered nothing, and I hit search. I'm not going to show it here because it shows lots of different things that we don't want to show. Now, we can see that on the broad search for everything, there's 2.3 billion keywords in their inventory. Okay, cool. That's a lot of keywords. That means of all the traffic Google is getting, there's at least 2.3 billion keywords they're using to get to that traffic. Okay, so the niches, that's where it works. If you get a good niche, you can be one of those keywords and work really well. My website here, which is actually about making videos and building audiences and advertising, this is a small snippet. I mean, if you take the 10 million searches on Google every minute, I'm only getting 688 clicks in my small little niche, but the value is high. Now, looking at this, 2.3 billion keywords. If I was to isolate and say, I just want keywords that show these AI overviews, all right here, AI overviews. If I turn that on, we could see that of the 2.3 billion, only 32 million are showing AI overviews. All right, so not a big number, very important to look at. Next, we can see that of those, if the intent is turned on for informational, what does this mean? Informational would mean I'm going to Google to search for information. Transactional would mean I'm going to search for like, where do I buy this coffee cup or this keyboard or something like that. If it's something like, comparison or whatever, there's lots of different reasons people would search. However, looking at AI overviews, look at this number, 32,071, 32,034. So only 30,000 some odd, like 26,000, 27,000 keywords that have AI overviews are not informational, which means this is mostly informational searches. What is a high yield savings account? How do I tie my shoes? How do I make my house bigger or whatever, right? Informational type keywords. Now those could lead to commercial, transactional, money keywords. As we see here, this one is considered informational, yet it's got a lot of money behind it. So, very important. Now, why does all of this matter? As we talked about before, the search volume and the money, a lot of stuff here. What's happening is we're seeing a search engine turn into an answer engine. This is the future of AI search. Now, I got to tell you, Google still crushes AI tools in search volume. You hear all this stuff about ChatGPT and Perplexity and all these other AI tools. Google is still like the king by a landslide. Now, I want to show you some other things that are going on here, because when we look at where AI search is headed and what's going on, you're going to see some interesting things. Here are the examples of the searches with AI overviews. Here's one with ads. This is interesting. So this one we did with ads and AI overviews. So like 400,000 keywords in Google have ads and also AI overviews. The ones that have AI overviews and not, or I'm sorry, the ones that have ads and not AI overviews is like 1.7 million. Interesting. That shows us that, one, there's not that many with ads and AI overviews, meaning Google is saying, oh, it's not really transactional content. Now, we can also see that of 2 billion search terms, only 1.7 million have ads. Interesting. Now again, take these numbers with a grain of salt. This is a Ahrefs estimate. This is not from Google, but it is showing us a little bit of insight into, yeah, most of the searches on Google are not leading into an ad click. Interesting. Now, going through here even more, if we were to take a look at the NerdWallet site, which is a very popular site in the finance industry, mostly informational traffic, this would be one that would be really hit by this kind of thing, we could see that they did actually lose a lot of keyword rankings. They lost a lot of traffic. However, if I was to go here and look at the keywords they rank for like 2.3 million keywords about AI stuff. And this company's a behemoth. They're making tons of money. Most of the money, from what I can see, is made off of Google searches. Ergo, Google search equals lots of money. If you learn how to nail this and you learn how to use AI and AI overviews and everything, I think you can have a pretty good business. Again, refer to our disclaimer, because business is business. There's risk, there's reward. Most people make nothing. Looking at this, we're seeing where the money is. So if I had a good piece of content for high yield savings account or whatever, maybe even a less competitive keyword, because that one's kind of a doozy, we could go through and get things that would actually work, okay? Now, when looking at NerdWallet, we can also see, I ran the first 1,001 keywords. I meant it to be 1,000, but apparently it stuck an extra keyword in there, through the Ahrefs tool to see how many are actually informational. Now, we could see at a glance, most are informational, some are transactional. So if I put all these in and I say, I just want the ones that are informational, that's all I want. Informational, should have AI overviews. We can see that out of that, the ones that actually include AI overviews is 403. That means almost half of the keywords that site ranked for on the top 1,000 list are showing an AI overview. Could this be taking traffic from them? Well, more about that in just a minute. Looking at this idea of search engine versus answer engine, I don't believe we're there yet in terms of like people are ready to just go to AI and search. So that's super important. And also, Google is still crushing it with over 15 billion searches every day, 10 million searches every minute. So what can we learn for this? We can learn that keywords are inventory. To Google, 1.7 million keywords have advertisers. That is what's driving the lion's share of the money. If we can understand this, we can see that, hey, a well-ranked, good ranked search site, much like the one up here that I'm building up, right? We've featured this in other videos. You want to learn more about this, I'll show you where to get it. But going through here, we can see good rankings can pay the bills. I've had good rankings that I've gotten for years. They've made good money. It all has to do with providing good content. Now, looking at this and understanding the future of search and AI is super important. We have to look at the new landscape. Search isn't just a list of links anymore. We're looking at a big shift where we're moving from a search engine to an answer engine. Also, AI overview prevalence. While the exact number fluctuates, studies have shown that AI overviews appear in a significant and growing portion of searches, ranging from 11% to over 55%. I think it's closer, maybe lower than the 11%, but let's look at this and understand it. Now, what people are worried about is the zero-click threat. Meaning, is Google one day going to just have AI overviews and we can't get traffic anymore? Is Google just going to run the show and that's like where you go to get your answers and one and done? Well, I don't think so just yet. If you're ready to just say, Google, give me the information, I don't need to look it up myself, I don't need freedom of clicking, I don't need the freedom to search for what I want, just tell me what I want. Kind of like Kramer in Seinfeld, where he said, just tell me the movie you want to see, right? That's kind of where people are looking at this. Now, why is this so important? One, because there's trillions of dollars at stake. And two, there was actually a research done where people were trying to estimate what the value of free search would be. What is the value of being able to use Google every year? And they did some monetary value based on different things, like what's it worth to have email? What would people actually pay if email was no longer free? And they came up with this number of like $8,400 a year. Is that actually true? Would we pay $8,000 to have email? Well, maybe, maybe not. What are the advertisers paying? What are they paying for digital maps and things like that? And they came up with this number, which I think is kind of hearsay, right? It's not actually on point, true, fact, take it to the church, it's gospel truth. But we are seeing that search engines were the highest valued category by like 2 times, which means people value search. Search equals value, search equals money. Zero-click threat is a real deal. There are companies making lots of money on AI search. And when we understand that, Now we're seeing where this goes. The opportunity is becoming the source. If I could become the source for a small niche, maybe a subsect of a niche, maybe some kind of high yield savings account, or maybe tips to invest, or maybe how to, go fishing, or how to prepare certain dinners, or how to use an air fryer, or a small niche category. If I can become the source and do really well, this is going to be key. This is why I'm a big advocate of starting with a good domain in a good niche market. Once we understand this, everything is key, because we can go out there and we can get traffic in many different ways, from Google search, from AI, from social media. If I can get traffic, and we know that traffic is worth money, then this is where the future of marketing is going, and that's where it is here. It's the information attention economy. And whether I'm getting traffic from Google search directly, which is the highest amount, I think they say that advertisers on average, for every $1 in Google ads, they get $8 out. Again, some people lose money, most people make nothing, so it's not like you're going to go to Google and give them $1 and you're going to get $8. It doesn't work that way. But understanding this is worth money to the right people, now we're understanding where business goes. Why did Hollywood get so prevalent? Because they realized advertisers would pay for people that are watching shows. And you might say, well, people watch TV for free all the time. When I grew up, I would watch TV. We didn't have cable. We would watch like the numbered channels, and we would watch advertisements because it made money. That's why Hollywood exists. If there was no advertisers, it would not exist. Your favorite actor would be nothing without advertisers, sales, and business. That's what runs the engine. Same thing with Google. Only with Google, instead of guessing people who watch I Love Lucy want to get a mortgage, Google, it tells you. They literally go there and search for, I want to get a mortgage or high yield savings. That's why it's so much more expensive. That's why the average person watching a show isn't worth like $13 for an ad per person, but on Google, it is. Very important. So what we need to do is we need to structure our content in a good way. We need to understand, that report, even though, I have some quarrels about how they came up with the $17,000 a person number, I think looking at it, there's a lot of money at stake here. Let's just say that there's a lot of money and there's a lot of value in these free services such as search. Where does the money come from? It comes from advertisers. So what we want to do is we want to pick our niche and work really good. My tip would be get a good starting domain, build something of value. Looking at the economic impact, what is a click worth? For businesses, Google's tool is driven by a massive economic engine. The big number in Google, or in 2024, Google helped generate over $850 billion in economic activity. I actually think it's a lot more. Now, again, that number there where they're saying this is where the money comes from, if you were to look at that, okay, well, if Google generated 500 billion in ads times $8, that would be a lot more than the 850 number. But again, these are all arbitrary numbers. They're estimates. They're not even to be taken seriously. However, they show us insight. That's what we're after. We're after the insight into business, and that's what this lawsuit shows us. The MIT study showed that a user would need to pay $17,000 a year to give up search. Okay, that was like the give up number. Like, what would you pay to give up the ability to drive? Okay, a lot of people would get their checkbook out and pay a lot of money if that was on the line. Very important. That's why people spend $100,000 for a car that, in my opinion, is not worth $100,000. But going through and looking at this, we have to understand that search is a fundamental utility, not just another app. It's the gateway to the rest of the internet. That's why this is important. If Google blocks the gateway and says, I am the king, you can only look at my overviews and no websites, that's a problem. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the executives at Google are a lot smarter than to test that out. But going through here and understanding, hey, wait a minute. Targeted traffic is money. Targeted traffic is money. That's why people want traffic online. That's why they pay for it. When we look at this, if we understand that targeted traffic is money no matter where it's from, then we can predict what's going to happen with AI search and how we can start getting traffic now. I got to tell you, that website that you saw that is getting $1,700 a month worth of traffic, now I haven't tried to monetize it yet. I actually, to be honest with you, I forgot about it for a couple months, and then I just looked it up today and I was like, wait a minute, we're getting some traffic. Maybe I need to put the burners on this thing and make some money with it. But understanding, hey, that wasn't that hard to do. It was all AI traffic that my team made, human plus AI. That's my team. I have people that actually write AI content with human interaction, looking at the intent, looking at what's going on. It wasn't very expensive. I think I paid all in all for that website and the content and everything less than $1,000. So if I ramp it up and get the ball rolling, I think I'm looking pretty good here. What do you think? Let me know as a comment below. But going through and looking at this, it is beyond text. It's going into AI. We need to focus on brand authority. We need to focus on the legal and ethical frontier. When I threw a AI overview, straight as it was, into the plagiarism checker here, let's run it again because it kind of lost its stuff there. I found that it was close to about 10% plagiarism, which means, yeah, it's kind of just copying from the different sites. And then I actually went in AI also and said, hey, where did it get this information from? It actually pulled up like NerdWallet and other sites, so it was directly taking them from there. And it was saying, yes, it is a very, very close overview, which is like, okay, are they just taking content and making an overview and kind of putting the guy who made the content out to pasture? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. And obviously these lawsuits, how they pan out, will be the judge of it as well. But what we see as marketers and what we can learn is that traffic is worth money. And if we can understand how to rank in Google now, because it really hasn't changed all that much. I've been doing this for 25 years. People say, oh, it's easier when you started. Actually, it's easier now. Back when I started, it took forever to get ranked. It was easier to get ranked, but it took forever. Now, I mean, some sites can rank like same day, same hour if you use press releases and different things like that. Depending on what you're looking at doing, you can get a lot of traffic in a targeted way. So very important. I'm going to give you some tips for ranking in the age of AI, and then I'll lead you some other videos in the description, and I'll have all these notes over at AIProfitScoop.com so that you can build an engine that hopefully can make you some money. That's the goal here. We want to build something good, honest, and true with the help of AI that'll actually help us make money with ads and affiliate offers and our own products and things like that. So going through here are some tips to ranking in the age of AI. First of all, directly answer the intent. To Google, intent is everything. Why are they searching? This is why AI overviews only happen to show up predominantly on keywords where people are looking for information. AI overview is an information. So the content must precisely match the why behind why someone is searching for something. Demonstrate EAT, which is showing expertise, authority, experience, trustworthiness. EAT. High quality factual content. Do your research. Don't just slop some AI junk up there and expect it to rank for a keyword. Do the research, make it good. Your content should stand on its own, whether it ranks in Google or not. I should be able to share it with people and they'll say, wow, that's a good piece of content that helped me out. Now, that doesn't mean it needs to be huge. It could be something small. Google is saying, hey, this overview is going to help people out. No matter how small it is, that'll help people out. And you know what? They're right. It probably does. Next up, we have clear logical structure, having the right tags and formatting and everything like that. Strong user engagement signal. Now, this is where the AI overview is falling flat on its face. There's no engagement. If I read this and I don't click, then hey, I'm out. There is no engagement, which is important. Remember how we saw that the average user clicks 1.14 times? That means the average person is clicking more than once, which is signaling engagement. Are people actually clicking on the things on your website? Do they stay on your website long? Are they looking at other articles, pages, posts? What are they doing? Structured data, having a good structured data is key. Natural language and readability, right? Getting rid of the AI jargon and getting to how people actually speak. Technical SEO, backlinks, things like that, secure website, fast website, all of that is super important. Authoritative backlinks, this is where we go into domain buying. Obviously the domain that ranked, the one that I bought for $600 or whatever, That one ranked instantly because it had backlinks. That's why it was expensive. It was a good backlink domain that ranked in Google previously. I built it up, made the site better than it was before, in my opinion, and now I'm going to build and grow and make a business out of it. This is where we can build businesses off of things that other people didn't know how to do. Domain buying is key. This month at AI Profit Scoop, we are having a domain buying class coming up, so you can check that out at aiprofitscoop.com. We actually have one of our students who's done pretty well with domain buying and flipping and selling and all that. He's going to come share as well. Also, uniqueness and added value. The AI overviews have no uniqueness. They are literally just taking info from the sites that are on Google anyway, which I think is kind of not the greatest. So our AI content needs to be unique and add value. And might I also add, when you go through and buy a domain, build a website, choose a niche, pick one with content you know has commercial value. If I was to go into the high yield savings account one, I know that has a lot of value. Or if I was to go out there and do a, let's say, explainer video software, which is what that niche is in, the one that I'm actually showing you as the example here, explainer video software, we could see that this one is actually pretty expensive. Does that mean I'm going to get $9 a click? No, right now I'm not getting anything. I don't have any ads on it. Could I hit that number? Probably not, but it tells me there are a lot of ads, ergo, this is a good one to go into. Very important. We want to look at the data, and looking at the data doesn't mean, oh my gosh, I'm going to make a bazillion dollars overnight. What it means is, okay, advertisers are paying for this traffic. Much like if you were a Hollywood exec, you'd be like, oh, hey, you know, advertisers don't pay that much for Jerry Springer, but they do pay a lot for this other show. Therefore, I'm going to make this other show because there's more value. That's what we're doing. It's a rule of thumb. It's a gauge. It's an idea. Looking at it, this is how you judge based on the data. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out there and build sites based on data because we know those are valuable. If you have a website that ranks in Google and gets traffic for something that advertisers pay money for, that is value. If I get traffic from Facebook in a market that's tight-knit that advertisers are paying for, then I know that's value. Ergo, what we can learn from this is traffic is money when done correctly. Targeted traffic equals money. If we have a tight-knit audience around one simple thing, I mean, you look at it, I don't even show up on the radar of searches, yet that one could be a good earner for me, as many have before. Why? Because I don't need that much traffic to make it work if that traffic is super targeted. That's the key to making this work. And even though AI has been the huge topic over the last 3 years, Google is still getting searches for all kinds of things all over the place. And that tells us that money is still to be made with blogging, search engine traffic, ads, and everything that I've been doing over the last 25 years. And if you want to learn about that, check out aiprofitscoop.com. We'll have some notes over there where you can see the notes from this video. Some of the reports that we had, I'll be able to have some of these reports that you can look at, links to the articles and everything like that, and some tips on how to build websites and make money with SEO and ads and affiliate marketing and everything like that. Thanks again for watching. Let me know your thoughts as a comment below where you think AI search is headed. Check out aiprofitscoop.com and the videos in the description, and I'll see you in the next training.